This is Stronger Than My Father with Marcus Meneese.
Welcome to another episode of Stronger Than My Father podcast, your most trusted podcast centered around restoring the fatherhood in America. I am your host, Marcus Meneese Sr. Hey, I want to say Happy New Year. Welcome to 2025. So I am back. I'm back recording, and hopefully I can keep recording through 2025 without no breaks. So pray for me. But I would like to thank my producer for nearly 3 years, Jim McCarthy, who has been a friend, who has been the best producer of my podcast, and I won't do it without him. So I'd like to thank Jim McCarthy for producing my podcast. And also, if you're looking for a podcast producer, or if you'd like to have some information about podcasting, I ask you to reach out to my friend Jim McCarthy on his website at jmvos.com. Let's go to work. My guest today is a friend, relationship expert, heck of a golfer, and he is the one half of the K&O show. K&O show
on WVOL.
On WVOL every Sunday at 3 o'clock. That's where we met, and I wanted to interview him to talk about fatherhood and relationships. So buckle up and enjoy the ride, because this is going to be a ride. So, hey, welcome, man. Thanks for coming, man.
Man, you know I come anytime for you, anytime.
Thanks, man.
Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you stopping by, because I don't know where it's going. But because we have so much fun when we hang out talking about relationships. Me being married, giving me marriage advice, trying to help me stay married.
Yes, sir. Me in a committed relationship type thing, you know.
Yeah. So I start out everyone with one question. When you hear the word fatherhood, what comes to your mind? If somebody said, hey, what does the word fatherhood means to you?
I mean, it means a number of things. It's strength, protection, fortitude, vision. Because when I look at fatherhood, I think that as a man, you should be able to allow your son or your daughter to stand on your shoulders and see what you couldn't see.
I like that one.
So, yeah, you're supposed to be able to, be able to hoist them in visionary. So the mistakes that you made, you're supposed to be able to see those mistakes that you made, learn from them, but also navigate through, like we play golf.
Yeah.
Because when we play golf, the object is to get to the destination in the least amount of strokes possible.
Yep.
You apply that to life. You apply that to your children. You want to get them to the destination that they need to get to with the least amount of bumps in the road, but also give them the hard lessons that when you do hit it left, when you do hit it right, you still got to understand that it might be a penalty. You might not be out of bounds. You might just need to knock it back in, just get back in the fairway to get on course. But yeah, those type things.
Well, I hit it everywhere.
Sprayer.
When we play, man, I get a good drive, I'm going to talk smack, because I'm like, I'm talking smack, then the next drive, I ain't doing nothing.
It's all good.
But I enjoy that time hanging out with you, man.
John hits it everywhere too, so y'all good.
So yeah, I appreciate that. I always start the podcast with that question, but let's talk about relationships.
What's up?
You are a relationship expert. A lot of people going to question you and say, how does a relationship work? But I think
simple.
Experience. Well,
not just experience. I mean, I was a pastor, a bishop for a period of time, and then in that time, I did get a master's in counseling. So therefore, I did study and did counsel quite a few people, and not just people in the church, but also pastors. So I learned a lot just watching some pastors with some of their addictions, some of their their shortcomings, and not only that. When you really study yourself, you begin to see the shortcomings in other people. And I don't think a lot of people understand that. Mastering yourself helps you to see, things that people don't see within themselves, which actually helps when you do counsel. So, yeah. But not just that. I mean, I wrote a book. I do speak on it.
Yeah.
But it's just the fact that I'm not and when people say relationship expert, I don't think people understand. It's not really. I'm not going to say I'm an expert. I just can help you in the best way possible.
Yeah,
I can give you the strategy that you need to be successful in your relationship. So yeah.
So let me ask you this then. When it comes to, I've seen I told my mom when I asked her, when I was getting married with me and my wife Bacon, she said sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. Why do you see? And I've seen it, and I'm not using this podcast to bash churches, but I've seen a lot of people who go to church, they don't stay married. And I've seen just the statistics of people who profess to be Christians and they go to church, but they can't stay married long. just in your experience in life, why do you think it's tough for just people in general to stay married? We've seen a lot of celebrities. They don't stay married for 2 or 3 years. Is it when you're dating, you having fun, but when you get married, you realize, man, it ain't the same anymore?
Well, the church doesn't teach you how to be married. They teach you how to get married. They don't teach you how to stay married. They don't tell you about unexplained expectations. And when I say that, I say to the nature of like when your wife wants something, but she's scared to come tell you, but she's expecting you to know it.
Yeah. So you said like she wants sex or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay. I got it.
That type of thing. Or she's like, she really needs affection. She needs attention. She needs time, but she doesn't know how to come tell you.
Just tell you.
But she's expecting you to know because, well, he's married to me. He should know.
Yeah.
Ladies, unfortunately, men don't know. So at the end of the day, it's a training ground because people don't look at relationships as a merger. It is a merger because when we come together, in a relationship, there are going to be things in the relationship that I'm going to have to get rid of. You're going to have to get rid of in order for this to work. And that's the way. That's really it really goes down. But also accountability. Are we really accountable for the actions that we're talking about?
Well, I mean, I didn't really realize that women want affection, but I figure out I'm a blunt individual.
Of course.
Some people like Marcus, some people don't. I just tell you how I feel in my head. And my wife says sometimes you need a filter. So,
well,
because I'm going to just tell you straight up, and that's just who I am. And
well, she needs you to have a filter. And the reason why she needs you to have a filter because she feels like because I'm intimate with you, you should talk to me a little bit softer. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
Well,
I think just growing up with just a dad who didn't talk much, he was just straightforward. And so I think there's areas in my life where I got to learn to be softer and stuff like that because I'm more just direct.
Well,
now I'm not direct when it comes to intimacy. I'm not that guy.
Well, the best way to learn,
I'm not gonna do that.
The best way to learn that is from her.
Yeah,
because she's gonna explain to you how she wants you to convey information to her, and all you gotta do is just listen. And here's the thing. It's not going to happen overnight. It's going to be a process, but you have to want to do it. That's the other thing. She can tell you all day long, but you got the desire to want to do it.
Yeah, I think I didn't want to be a guy in marriage that marriage was like a robot. You got to do this, you got to do that.
But that's another reason why marriages fail in church because, they do have the highest divorce rate, but that's also because they tell you, well, you're supposed to love your wife as Christ loved the church and Christ died for the church. No, it's we're talking about human beings here.
Yeah.
We're not talking about someone who died for your sins. We're talking about two human beings who are imperfect, who are coming together, having a relationship that has led to marriage. And in that process, you're supposed to give them principles and concepts that actually work. Now, a lot of people don't want to hear that in the church. Like, well, no, it's not supposed to work like that. No, it's supposed to work like that because you're a team.
Yeah.
It's not, there's no I in team. So if you feel like happy wife, happy life, guess what? You're going to be divorced.
Well,
so
I think a lot of people use
spouse,
that phrase.
Yes, happy spouse, happy house. And we got to get this together. We spouses and we together and we got to make this work.
Yeah, I don't even know who came up with that lie. I don't know. That's just a lie to me. I just think me. Happy wife,
it was a woman that came up with it. They gonna get mad at that one.
They gonna get mad at that one.
I don't like him, Marcus. Don't bring him back.
They don't tell me not to bring you back.
Don't bring him back.
Well, I think that two things I've seen is that you can't read a woman's mind. So why don't you just tell me what's on your mind. Tell me. So I always tell that I can be a better person. But I know a lot of people, soon you just can read their mind. You can't. So I think just in my life, and I don't know if you heard previous podcasts I've done, is that my father wasn't a big affectionate guy. We didn't grow up needing hugs. And we just knew we hung with daddy. He was there. We thought he was mean. But when I got into the dating and stuff like that, I had that affection side a little bit, then it just goes away. And so I think now you get into marriage.
So wait. So when you were dating, you said you had affection and it went away.
It's go away.
At what point does it go away?
I don't know. I think that
so is it
after 23 years of marriage, I got a great individual, but I think I always say because you don't get on my nerves. I think that's it. And I told her that. I told her you don't get on my nerves at all. And I said that I didn't have a wife because we didn't have social media big when we got married in 2001. now I see everybody post they loved ones, and then when y'all have a problem, you don't want to post it no more. Post it then.
Yeah. Post when you got problems. Post when you got issues.
So we've never been the type of I've seen some spouse argue because you didn't post happy birthday to me, and they go off about that. You supposed to post me. Mm-hmm. Toy ain't like that. And I was like, I'm thankful for that. Because that would frustrate me, because I don't like telling the world. I don't like to be something you tell me I'm supposed to be.
True.
So I post. If I want to post, I do it.
Right.
But if it's her birthday, I'm going to tell you happy birthday. And Faithful's going to post that it's your birthday.
Right.
So I don't go, that's just me. I have nothing against nobody else doing that. I'm just not that kind of person, because she's never asked for that.
Okay, fair enough. She may not have asked for it, but let me ask you this question.
Sure.
So you're nonprofit.
Yeah.
You know it like the back of your hand, right?
Mm-hmm.
You can sense.
Not everything. Okay, well, I would say about 90%.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah.
So you know that when something is about to, you can basically tell when something is about to be out of line.
Yeah.
Before it happens, just because you've been down that road, because you've studied this thing, you've understood this thing. Same thing with your woman.
Yeah.
And the reason why I say that is because they may not tell you, but body language is like 75% of what communication is. So if I'm with my woman, I'm supposed to study her. So if her mood changes, I should be able to sense it over the phone. We're going to miss it. We're not going to always get it.
Yeah.
But when you study her and you talk to her more and you begin to understand the creature that she is, her feminine energy, and when her masculine energy rises, because we're both endowed with both. So when her feminine energy is there, okay, she's in that comfortable zone. But when she moves in that masculine, somewhere along the line, she has a tenseness. There's a frustration that needs to be addressed. Yeah. So she will tell you. She may not verbalize it, and it's not mind reading, but it's a sense of being connected. That's where that connectivity comes from. So when she's asking for more intimacy, or she's asking for more affection, she might be really asking for more connection from you on a deeper level. Because we can be surface. Men can be surface. We can be. But some women need substance in order to move in a different arena.
I agree with that. I mean, like I said, I think I don't know why I'm like, I always say I don't know why the way I am. I think that some of the things I've seen, just in dating and, before I settle down and everything else, is if a girl didn't get a lot of love from her dad, then how does that affect in a relationship?
Oh,
because my wife grew up without having a close relationship with her father.
It can affect in a lot of ways. And
that's the thing where I always tell people, like, how did that affect in relationships and stuff like that? In your experience and expertise, is that if a girl did not have a solid father that loved her, that hugged her, told her that, hey, this is what kind of man you need to look for and need to have, how does that work when you have two people? I had dad, my wife didn't have dad, and you trying to bring two people together to say, hey, we're going to be married, and you make all that work.
But she married her dad in a way, because if her dad did not give her affection, you're not an affectionate individual.
It's not my job to be. I'm not my job to be her dad.
No. What I'm saying is the traits.
Okay.
Not the trait. I'm not saying I'm saying the traits.
Yeah.
So if her dad wasn't affectionate, you're not affectionate, then she kind of like married that. So she's kind of used to it, but at the same time, she's looking for you to kind of like break that mold.
Of being that affectionate guy.
Of being that affectionate guy, because that's what she craves from you, because she craved it before. Yeah. We normally marry the thing that we don't get.
What? That's
as a child. As a child, we normally, most men looking for their mama. Unfortunately, some women looking for their dad.
I've heard that. And is that really true, man?
It's true. If you are and when I say this, a lot of people are going to disagree, but if you are a surface individual going through life, but when you take time to go through your issues and your situation, it changes. You begin to exude the thing that you truly, truly want. In a relationship and in a marriage, and that is the thing that you will attract, or you will attract somebody who actually needs that. So this is where the weakness and the strength comes in. This is where you guys balance each other out, and you begin to work this thing out like you're supposed to.
Well, I've heard a lot of people say most girls try to find men similar to their dad.
Not mine.
Because my dad was very protective of my sister when she got married. He wanted to be sure she married a guy who was going to work and provide and take care,
right,
and not be lazy.
Right.
So I only can go by what I know.
Yeah.
But I think that I want to ask you, just in your opinion, why isn't someone for dads to really nurture their daughters? Because I've asked guys on podcasts, do you train your daughters to be werewolves? Because guys are hunters.
Mm-hmm.
It's just natural. I tell people, that's just that you're going to always, if you're attracted to women, you always going to be like, man, you're going to find women all the time. You're going to always find women that looks good all the time. And so, but why is it so important for you think, in your opinion, dads really need to nurture their daughters in this day and age now?
Especially in this day and age.
In this day and age. What's your thoughts on that?
In this day and age is different. The hunting game is different. The animal is different. So at the end of the day, the daughter needs to understand that when you go out here, you need to be able to understand people. If it's one thing about being a military kid, and I love the fact that I am a military kid, we read people. We were taught to read people quickly because they may be here today and gone in 6 months because that's the way their fathers got stationed. You might be here and gone tomorrow. But you had to learn quickly the type of people that you could have around you. And I love that about my life because I can read people extremely well, and I love it. I love the fact, for a young lady in this world today, being out there and not given the tools on how, she's going to be hunted, that's very dangerous because she could come up on some money and a guy would feed off of her for money. She could have a very great looking body and he would feed off of her body. She could have a great mind. He could feed off her mind and get money off of her and still use and abuse her. And so we got a lot of guys who call themselves pimps and players, or they feel like they're in that Kevin Samuels mode where they think they understand women. They really don't. This is a world where there's so much ideology in a technology world. Information comes so fast. If you do not have a father that can actually mentor that daughter and teach that daughter how to navigate in a room full of vultures, she will be the prey. And you don't want that. So fathers need to definitely be able to sit down, have daddy-daughter days, teach her how to change a tire, teach her how to, do her own oil, teach her how to go to the store and really look for food and stuff like that. Teach her how to be able to look over her shoulder and understand to be able to survey the area. Teach her that stuff. Teach her that when she walks the car, have your keys out, and then make sure that you don't park in a dark area. Make sure that you are, when you go somewhere, you go to the restroom, you take somebody with you. You don't go by yourself. We don't want no Roethlisberger situations going on.
Oh man, I'm a Steelers fan. threw that curveball on me. God, talking about
we
my
don't
boy
want no
Big
situations
Ben.
like that. Hey, we don't want no Big Ben situation. But I'm just saying, most guys nowadays, they hunt in a whole different way. This animal out here is completely different from when we were out here. It's completely different. We don't have regular baby sharks anymore. We got these great whites out here that really like to bite, but when they bite, they like to leave the meat. It is damaged for the next person. So it's dead carcass really pretty much going. Because they don't know how to heal. And that's another thing a father needs to teach his daughter. How to sit back and heal from the pain, and how to process the pain that you just went through. Because what you'll do is you'll pass the pain to somebody else. And you'll go into a relationship with that pain, and what you'll be doing is making another man pay for something another man did.
Dang,
and you don't want that.
Yeah, I've seen that. That Tyler Perry did that in what's that, Medea Family Reunion?
Never saw it.
Where
not a Tyler Perry fan, sorry.
Yeah, but I've seen in movies where you've seen women who've been to a bad relationship and the new guy try to come around and it makes it harder. He got to work twice as hard to deal with your error, your issues. And and I know trust is a hard thing.
Yeah, it is.
In relationships.
But each person is different, and most women need to learn that. Most people need to learn that.
Yeah.
When you move into a relationship with somebody, just because one person did you dirty doesn't mean all people are going to do you dirty. This is where you learn how to deal with people, because the people that if it's one thing that I learned in life, and I'm glad I heard it through Kendrick Lamar. I love my Kendrick boy. Shout out West Coast. At the end of the day, the people that you attract is in you. So the same thing that's in you is the same type of people you attract, good and bad.
Darn.
So you have to be if you are continuously elevating, you will meet people that are continuously elevating. If you are continuously on one level, you're going to meet people on one level. So the equivalent that you pour into yourself is the equivalent that you will draw to yourself. That includes the people that you date. So you have to be ready. You have to be prepared in this world. So that's why it's important for a father to be not only in the daughter's life, but also the son's life.
Well, let's do sons then.
Okay.
Because my dad, I ain't going to say he trained me. I just watched him.
And that's what most men do. That's what we do. Is what we watch.
I watch Daddy. So when I had my heart broken at 18, when my dad says, "Don't ever get too close to a woman, where you'll do something silly if she leaves you." And I probably didn't take that the right way. I just heard, "Don't get too close." I didn't really take the rest of the phrase. So for years, I never got close. I was easy for me to go out, eat, but I would never get close. I would probably even call you the next day. That was just who I am, because I was like, Daddy said don't get close. So that was just, but like I said, different era, and where I just never got. So I can, in the work that I do, I'm around single moms all the time. I don't get close to nobody. I just don't get close to anybody.
I don't blame you.
I just don't. Because I don't know. I don't know what move. When people ask me all the time, it's like, I said cheating ain't hard for me because I'm scared of you. I'm scared of you. So if I step out to marriage and I mess with you, I don't know what you'll do. And there used to be a show on TV One called Unfaithful, and I seen these women start killing guys, and they're scared to live in daylights out of me. So then, as having a degree in psychology, I understand that if you're intimate, you got all kind of emotions come involved. And then, I just want to be intimate with you, but I don't want to be with you. But now you like, I'm in love with you, and I ain't letting you go.
Right. So
now I risk losing Toya or my boys to another woman who's madly in love with Marcus. Well, but I'm gonna get. So I don't know. So
you lose the 3 Fs.
What's
family,
the 3 F?
Friends, finances.
Yeah.
Ooh,
I do. Yeah, I do. I mean, I just don't
and
trust.
That's the main thing, but it's because that's your circle. That's your strength.
Yeah, I just don't trust women. I think women are great. It's just because I think this work of mentorship in the world I've been seeing for the last 20 years have shaken me real bad.
Well, I mean, as a guy,
I've seen a lot of stuff. Man.
As a guy, it's going to shake you, and with what you do, you do come across a lot of women. I mean, because a lot of women. Because I remember when I was pastoring, long time ago. So calm down. So retired. So at the end of the day, I remember being single, and because I came out of a divorce, and when I was single and I was pastoring, I mean, women came out of everywhere.
Yeah.
And the thing about it wasn't even just regular women up to people. We're talking about pastors' wives, bishops' wives. It was coming. Oh, he's young. Okay. And it was crazy to me because I'm thinking, wait a minute.
You don't supposed to act like this.
You ain't supposed to be. What's wrong with y'all? But then also, I had enough intelligence to understand that. Do you not understand the dangers of playing with somebody's life? And not only the dangers, because even though that person may be a pastor, he's still a man. Even though that man may be a deacon, he's still a man. Even though that man is a man in my church, he's still a man. And then, of course, I was watching, what's the movie, Richard Pryor? I forgot which one it was, the one where the pastor was messing with his wife. And
I don't know about that one.
I forgot the name of the movie. It was the preacher was messing with his wife, and then he went after the preacher. But because my parents. I
think what scared me most movie that scared me about female was Thin Line Between Love and Hate.
Oh man,
Martin Lawrence. That scared me.
That was funny, but it was true.
That
was a very true movie.
That's what told me don't mess with women's emotions.
Yeah,
don't mess with women's emotions because I don't know if you're a killer. I don't know if you're gonna. So I don't know. So it's like a forbidden fruit.
It is,
and you don't know. But as men, you curious. You like, man, she's nice. Man, she got a good looking body. She looked this, and then you curious. Even as married guys, you're curious, and then you like, I'm gonna go try it. I'm gonna go try the apple. But then you don't know what's gonna come with that.
Well, she was already obsessed with you from the very beginning.
But you don't know what's gonna come with it. So
I'm saying, she was already up. So you was already a target.
Yeah,
because she was obsessed with getting you.
Yeah.
So now it's not just getting you. At this point, she wants the life that person that you're with has.
Oh wow.
So you have to look at that.
Oh wow.
When you look at how relationships move, normally when that situation where a woman has actually killed the lover or whatnot, it's because she could not gain access to the full life that he was given to the other woman or his wife. Dang. And that's why you have those type of issues that go on.
Cause I seen it. My wife used to ask me. She said, why you keep watching the show Unfaithful? You trying to tell me something? You trying to tell me something?
You can't.
And I looked at it because, remember, shelter growing up.
Right.
We didn't see domestic violence. We didn't see a lot of bad stuff.
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out what makes a person move, what makes a person tick. Mm-hmm. So when I seen the episode where he was a school teacher, he started messing, he's engaged and has a baby on the way. Then he starts messing with a young lady he worked with at school. And then he's a part-time bartender. So where's the girl at school at? At the bar. So they be intimate, and then he says, I'm not leaving my fiance for you. So the woman broke in their house. She hid in the garage. Fiance parks her car in the garage and get out, and she blows her head off. Kill her and kill his baby. And that scared the living daylights of me.
But you don't know what kind of lengths a person will go through to try, and they in their mind they feel like they're justified. They're only justified because you allowed them that justification of thought process.
Yeah, that's why I don't mess with. Just stoke your clothes on back.
You just can't. You know
that scared the life out of me.
And
and I said, Lord, and so that's why I was explaining to Toya. So when you are growing up sheltered and you start seeing stuff, you start getting curious. Like, man, this, a man, that, and you got to really control that because you easily can go and say, I want to try this, or I want to try because I have never tried this before. And so I was always wondering. Let me say this about, and I'm going a different direction.
Let's go back. While you think about it, let me go back to the fatherhood thing.
Okay, go ahead.
So my stepfather was not really. Okay. He was a workaholic type thing. Okay. I want you to keep your thought process going.
I got the other one. Okay, I want to ask you. I got it. It's in the queue.
So my stepfather was a workaholic. He was not an affectionate man. Okay. Okay. He was not that dude. When I left home at 16 and started playing some football and started doing my thing, I ran into a gentleman by the name of Charlie. Charlie was me and his son played football together. He was a Mason, and he and I actually bonded because I happened to come and stumble into his library one day, and this big old sign, and I was like, wow, what's this? And so we got to talking, and as I began to talk to Charlie, he began to be the father that I needed. So he poured how to deal with a woman, how to maneuver a woman, and like before they start talking about a woman's always on the inside when you walk down the street. He told me that. He told me on how to treat a woman when you go out to eat, open the doors. And he told me the reason why you open the door for a woman. The reason why you open the door for a woman is because you want to survey and make sure she gets in safely and she gets out safely. So it's not just being a gentleman. It's making sure that she is in the carriage safely. But when she gets out, you have surveyed the area and made sure it was safe for her to come out. So it's just it's protection. It's not just chivalry. It's protection. So it was certain things that he showed me. And then how to maneuver in a room full of vultures for real. And that's all about being in a bar, being able to watch the door, watch your areas, know your exit, understanding that your mentality has to be very prepared for peace. You always be prepared for war, but always live in peace. So the mindset for me was, I'm going to be at peace always, but I will always be prepared to go to war if necessary. And I would tell anybody that. That's like a living motto for me all day long. And it just so happened one day for him, he died. And he died fighting for the honor of a woman that was about to be raped in an alley. He heard her scream, went into the alley, was beating the two dudes up, and one of them pulled out a gun and shot him and killed him, and they ran off. And they never found the killer. But within that 2 years, the principles that he poured in me were the principles that I needed to continue on to be a man in today's society. So that's the reason why it's very important for men to learn how to be a man so that you can pass down. Because now, at one point, it wasn't cool to paint your fingernails. Now you got all these people, all these football players, all these track runners. Oh, it's therapeutic for who? Next, you're going to say dresses is therapeutic. Next, you're going to be saying purses are therapeutic. And you're going to have a lot of people going to say, well, I mean, what's the problem? The problem is you say you want a man, but you're allowing the world to feminize black men on a regular basis, and you think it's okay and cool, and it's not. We do not have enough men. It's not enough real ones now left. And the ones that are left have to pour into the ones that are coming up, because if not, we're in trouble. Yeah. So that's the reason why it's important for black men to be poured into.
I know. I'm thinking when you said that if I came home, my boys had painted fingernails, my dad would kill us. Yeah. And my dad's very hardcore. And so I have not figured out that lane yet.
But you hear
why men now. I still think something has to go back to your childhoods. I don't know what
even
triggers your mind to do that.
I don't even think it's that. I think that nowadays they're so influenced by their women because they're not strong-minded. Because you hey, why don't you come with me? Well, you know what? Why don't you just let me paint your nails? No, what we talking about here?
I'll go off in a minute.
What we talking about here? Because in what world did you think it was comfortable enough for you to ask me that? Because at that point, once I let you do it, then you always have that to hope. Well, you let me do it one time, you let me do it again. Why don't you come to the nail shop with me? See, and then you got black women nowadays that say, "Oh, well, it's not that big of a deal." But you say you want black men, but you keep promoting this behavior.
I think the nail tech is fine. Like the first time,
you get your nails.
She said, "Get your fingernails done."
You get manicure.
Now I will tell you this: you gonna die laughing at this. You gonna die laughing at this. Jim gonna die laughing. I went and got my nails done, my fingernails done, and she said, "I'm gonna put this coat on your finger." And I looked at her, and she said, "It's gonna make." I was going to do a big speaker presentation. I wanted my nails to look good. I wanted to just look good. She said, "I'm gonna put this clear coat, and it makes your nails shiny."
You thought about it.
I thought about that joker, dude. I thought about that joker, and I said, "Here's what I'm gonna say, because I don't lie." I said, "I'm gonna give it a shot." So God. When she was doing this, painting the nail, I was just sitting here like, if my dad seen me do this, he would probably choke me out. But it was just like a clear coat. It helps keep you. It helped me, number one, for not biting my nails, and but it just felt funny as a man because we didn't think about it growing up a child. We didn't. And so even the first time I went to when they said, "All right, I'm gonna get your feet done and get your nails done," the first time I went with Toya and I sat in that thing and that lady was working on my feet. I didn't feel comfortable as a man. I didn't. I felt soft. And so, but she said, my wife said, "You know how many men come in here and get groomed and stuff like that?" And I think it's important.
Oh, that's important to be groomed and to get. We talking about color.
No, I ain't doing that.
We talking about that.
I ain't going that route. No, I wouldn't go that route.
Clear. And not me, but I can't do it. Just go ahead, buff it up, trim it up. That's it. That's all I need. I don't need any more, but that's about all.
But I will tell you, because we've known celebrities whose children come out gay and trans, and then I don't talk about them because we don't know what happened in that household. And my mom always told me the biggest impact on your child's life is what they see in the home. The biggest impact you can make on your child's life is what they see in the home. So
the reason being is because a child's mind is developed by 8 years old. Whatever they learn at 8 years old, that's their worldview. Because you have language that they're learning. You have discipline that they're learning. They're learning how to maneuver in different arenas and different cultures. So because you got. Let's be real. You got the project kids, you got the suburb kids, and you got the rich kids. You can't put all three of them in the same area and think that all of them gonna come out the same. They not. No, they not because they were taught different. One was taught survival. One was taught you gotta work for a little bit. The other one was taught we give you everything. Yeah. So you have different arenas. So that's the reason why by 8 years old their worldview is, already developed.
But I appreciate your thoughts even on raising a daughter, raising a son in this society, because every day I send my kids out to school and stuff. I don't never know what they're gonna come home with.
You don't,
and because my youngest son says some vulgar stuff, and he said it calmly. So you driving, and he said, "Daddy, somebody called me a fat A." So you driving, he says the whole word. So I'm driving, and I said, "Say that again." And he just says it like it ain't anything. So I said, "Well, son, we don't talk like that." And I said, if you don't hear it at home, you hear it at school, don't bring it home.
Yeah, but these kids nowadays, they're not.
Man, they say everything.
But see, that's the thing about it, though. They have no conscience when it comes to everything, because the internet pretty much dumbs you, and people don't understand. The more that you scroll, the stupider you get. And people don't understand, like, seriously, like they did a study, like the more that you scroll, you start to lose your memory. And people are like, wait a minute, what? Yeah, the more that you scroll, like when you start going to the next one, you start to lose your quick memory. You know how you recall information quickly? You begin to lose that because you're scrolling, because you're looking at it, and you look at the next thing, you look at it, but your brain's being processed that that's not important, that's not important, that's important. So things that you look at real quick and move on to the next thing, that thing that was very important, you done forgot it because now you're over here. So you have to. That's what I'm saying. You have. Yeah, you know, we be talking.
I know. No, but let me ask you this then. Let me ask you this: should parents allow their child to be on social media before 18?
That's a good question.
Should
I would say yes,
allow-
they should. But let me say this: Bill Gates,
Yeah.
Microsoft.
Yeah.
There are no electronics allowed in the house. When they come, there's a section in the house, because he stays in Bellevue, Washington. There's a section in the house. When he walks in, they put all their electronics, the cell phones, the iPads, all that on chargers, and then they go into the house. The only thing that's in the house is TVs. They do not allow them in there. So if the person who's giving us this type of software is not doing it, why would I?
Because I'm an old school dad. I remember speaking at a middle school, all 8th graders, and I says, I'm afraid to ask how many of you guys is on TikTok, but I says I'm gonna do it. Over half the class that's in 8th grade raised their hand and said we're on TikTok,
But they're not doing anything.
and I said, why would you be on that for? And they said to connect with my friends. So when I said my son's not on it, they was like, why not? He needed to talk to his friends. I said his friends at home. Y'all just people he know. His friends are at home. That was advice my dad gave me. So I agree. I don't think they need to have it on there.
Now, if they lived overseas, that'd be different. I would say, yeah, they need social media because their social media is different. Like TikTok over there, they reward you solving issues that go on in the community. They reward you for showing people how to do their homework. They reward you for progressive movements in human development. Where over here, we reward you for degrading development,
doing crazy stuff on social media,
human development.
Yeah, and
So,
people getting paid for that.
They're getting paid crazy money for it.
For that. But I think for me is that I want to be a father where I'm not too overprotective. I know my son, especially my youngest, he gonna be the hardest. I'm gonna have to mess up. He already told me 9 years old. He said the other day, Daddy, if I had a TikTok, I could have posted that. I'm like, where you hear that from? He ain't hear it from home. So
you know where he heard it from.
He heard it at school.
Yeah.
So I'm like, no, because if I gave my boy TikTok, I wouldn't know. I'll be too mad. I don't know what I would see.
Parental guidance.
I don't have time for all that.
You have no choice, though.
Yeah, that's why I just don't do it.
That's the thing about having a child. You have to navigate their waters for them because they don't know how to navigate them.
Well, I'm not. I just said I'm
you
not
don't want to
doing
end
it.
up like the Melendez brothers.
No, that's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story.
That's a whole nother story. But I think that I want to be able to protect my kids the best way I can. To protect my boys. But now I told my wife, I said, I think I made a mistake because I have to let my oldest son live. So I said, I'm going to get him a job this summer. I said Publix because Publix looks safe. Kroger's he may have to fight. So I said, you know what? I'm going to go to Publix. And I'm going to let him start seeing things. Because when I got 18, I started seeing things. It threw me off. It threw me off. And lucky I didn't go buck wild. I'm lucky. I was a little buck wild, but I didn't go way to the extreme of being crazy.
Well, let me see. Middle school for me, I was cutting grass in middle school, but I was a little buck in middle school. I was a little buck in middle school. But when it came to high school, though, I had a job at the commissary and I had a job at the movie theater. So I had money and I had candy. So you know what happens when you have candy. Everybody comes to your locker.
Yep. You was an entrepreneur then.
Oh, man.
But I just want to be sure of my son, because here's the thing I will say as we wrap this up. You're going to have to give me some advice on helping my son begin to date, because I don't want nobody to hurt his feelings. And I had a guest sitting right with you said that somebody's going to hurt MJ's feelings.
That's going to happen.
And she said you can't do nothing to stop it.
Well, the reason why you can't do nothing to stop it is because you don't know the level of connection that person's going to end up having, because the only way that his emotions can be hurt is because that person tapped into him on a deeper level than someone else before him. And that's the only thing. But the only thing that you can do is, kind of guide him daily and talk to him about the relationship and say, hey, as you get older, you will meet different women and this is not going to be your end all be all. You may feel some type of way, you may feel strong, but always come to me and talk to me about something before you make a major decision.
Yeah.
Case in point, the young man who was in love with the AI. Did you hear about that? Okay, there was a young kid, I think he was like 10 or 11 years old, and he developed a relationship with an AI. Because they have these, that's another thing about websites, and that's why you got to navigate, because there's a website out there where kids can connect with these artificial intelligence, and they learn the child, and they talk to the child like a human being. So the child became depressed because he wanted to be with this AI so bad that he actually, the AI said, he said, I want to be with you. And the AI said, come be with me. And he killed himself.
Golly.
So we live in a world where when you are talking about developing mindsets and emotions when it comes to your child, you have to talk to your child in a way of letting them know this world is not anything nice. This is not a world where you can just haphazardly walk through it and think that everything's okay, because I would try my best to try to train my child to look at my son to look at the world like, let's say they're walking through the jungle and out of nowhere comes an anaconda, and because that's the way life hits you, and a lot of people don't get that. Even adults nowadays in their 40s and 50s do not get that. With credit, with emotions, with dealing with family circles, friendship circles, it can hit you out of left field, but you can't allow it to knock you off your square. You have to continuously walk with your head up and learn from your mistakes. Don't go back through the mistakes. Yeah, because we have a habit of going back through the mistakes and not learning from the mistakes.
Well, I don't think I know you're gonna tell me that I shouldn't do this. Let's wrap this up. I with my son MJ, who's my firstborn, I don't want to allow my past hurt to block him. MJ's very affectionate.
Okay,
I don't know where he got it from. He didn't get it from dad.
He got it from his mama. It's okay.
From his mama, and I just, so I'm like, I'm kind of going back to what mom did. Like, she watched everybody who I dated and stuff like that. And I kind of want to do the same with him because he has such a kind heart. But I want to be able to tell him, look, you may get your heart broken. If you do, I don't need you to flip out. So that's what I tell him. I don't need you to flip out.
You need to tell him about your experience.
I don't want to.
You have to.
I don't want to tell him about my past.
Let me tell you something. Because
it brings back, it'll piss me off and bring back.
You know I'm not a religious type of man, so I'll throw one of your bones for you. Like I did Kim. I'll throw one of your bones for you. I can't show you. I can't teach you if I don't show you my wounds. I have to show you. I have to show you my wounds in order for you to understand the sacrifices I made, so that you could see that I'm here for you. Same thing with Jesus when he was trying to deal with doubt and Thomas, right?
Because my dad did that. My dad did that. Now I'm sitting here thinking, crap, Dad did tell me about some of his old.
You have to.
Like
you have to. You have to have that talk. In order for your son to be able to understand the world, you have to give him your wins, but you have to explain your losses. Because you got to remember, the art of war, he tells you about losses. He tells you about wins. So you have to tell your child about your losses and wins.
I do not want to tell him, because I want him looking like, Dad, you weak. And I don't want him looking at me
you tell him, yeah, I was weak at that point.
Yeah.
You got to remember, there are points that we are all weak.
Yeah.
But from our weakness, we gain strength.
Yeah.
We gain fortitude. We gain vision. So, yeah, I'm going to be weak. You're going to be weak, too.
Yeah.
And you're going to be weak in moments that I would have already broke through.
Yeah.
So, while you looking at me as weak, remember, you still growing.
Well, I want to protect my son the best way I can. I know he's going to date. He come here early and said, I'm going to get married at 24. I'm like, where did that come from? I almost want to say, but I know you would say, Mark, you cannot do that. I would say, you ain't going to get married till I tell you find the right one.
Well.
And because I wanted my mom and dad's approval before I settled down. Like, mom and dad was cool. Then because I trusted mom and dad so much where I had to, and some people tell me, you can't be that way. I just wanted my parents' approval. Well, and my parents, once they gave me the approval with Toya, then I was like, all right, they're cool with it. Even though they told me it's no guarantee it's going to work, but we like her. And that was it, because there ain't no guarantee. It ain't no guarantee in marriage when you walk down the aisle.
There's never a guarantee.
They need to tell you that before you walk down that aisle.
Well, like I told you, church ain't prepared.
I don't care if it's not church or the courthouse. They need to just tell you, look.
They can't. They don't want to tell you, because church is a business, number one, and the courthouse is a business. So if they can get you in either way capacity, they're going to do that. Man, it's a business.
I think somebody need to write a book called The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of Being Married.
Ooh.
Because it's some good, it's some bad, and some ugly. Because I think you, just like I told a person, and Jim, I'm going to wrap up, is I told somebody I want to write a book on nonprofit. Because people get excited. Man, I want to join. I got a cause. I want to join nonprofit. I want to do a nonprofit. Mm-hmm. You need to know the good,
the bad,
and the ugly.
Yeah.
Because you're going to experience all three.
Man.
And when you experience,
I don't think they get it. They don't know.
Because marriage is the same thing, man. You're gonna have good, bad, and ugly. And I've realized why the divorce rate in the church or out of the church is high. And they said if you make it 7 years, you're lucky.
True.
So why get married then?
Well, here's the deal. You got to know who you're marrying.
You don't know who you marrying.
You
don't know who you marrying even when you go down the aisle.
That's not true.
Because you got people put masks on.
Well, they do.
No,
they do. But that's why you go to a real counselor. A real counselor.
I think if you got to do a lot of counseling, you may have to. No, I think if you do a lot of counseling before you get married, I wouldn't marry you because you got too many problems coming to the table.
Well, guess what? That's a choice at that point. But here's the thing: would you rather go and learn and understand the person, or go into the marriage and then be like, man, it was good, getting it in and tapping that tail, but at the end of the day, I can't deal with the headache and this heartache that she's spending too much money, or she's got a little bit of some games going on. It's better to know before than after. That's what I'm telling anybody. Go to a real psychologist.
I mean, I'm fine with pre-marriage counseling.
Yeah,
but I think you just need to tell them the truth, the bad, and the ugly, because
you got to know the
tough.
right questions to ask them too, because they're going to tell you want to get married. Okay, well, let's talk about it. And they're going to tell you, work on you work on them. You don't say, hey, look, I need to know what's going to be the best way for us to succeed as a couple.
I would tell, what's the relationship with your dad? Did you have a good father? Did you have a good mother? What was that relationship? Because if you had a bad one, then you're going to bring some problems to the table. Now, it'll be a little controversial.
You're going to have some that bring, so you're going to have a lot of them that bring the daddy issues, but if you're in tune with yourself and you can stand your own too, then you can see some of that stuff. It's like either or, like, hey, look, I know you got some issues with your dad, whatnot, but at the end of the day, if we're going to make this work, you've got to deal with that. If not, I'm out. And you have to say it like that because they will bring that masculine energy to you because really it's not directed to you. It's really directed towards their dad, but they don't really realize that because when you're talking to them, they regress to that person where they was battling their dad. Yeah. And they don't realize it, but that's where they're at.
Darn, I didn't know people go through that kind of stuff. I didn't know that. Yeah. I didn't know that, man.
That part two.
You know what? I'm going to bring you back when we have a panel, me and you, 2 women.
That's fine.
I think that's going to be a showdown because I think having a different opinion from a female perspective is where, women and men, they have all, these all issues. So I always wondered why people can't stay married and people they love each other, have these big giant weddings, and then they're done. And so but that's just a curiosity of mine.
Man, it's that right there is so many. Because some people get married for the wrong intentions too.
Yeah, I met a guy. I'm gonna say this, Jim, and then do our closing. He told me.
He said that 5 minutes ago, didn't he?
Yeah, I probably did. I'm like one of them preachers. So I'm about to close up shop.
I'm about to close.
Yeah. This guy told me this. I was at a mixer a couple of weeks ago. This guy said, I went into the marriage knowing it was 50-50 it was going to work. I said, what?
I'm not going into no marriage 50-50.
He said,
if I feel it's 50-50, you can 50 it off. It's a wrap. You on your own. Like, if I don't feel comfortable that I can spend the rest of my life with you, there will be no I do.
And he lasted 4 years. And I was just like, why would you do that? He said, well, I just wanted to see if it was going to work.
But see, that's the thing about you already went in defeated because you weren't even trying. You just wanted to see
if it was going to work.
If it was going to work. And that's not what we do. That's not what we do.
We coming back. I know we got to go. What can people find? No, you coming back. We got to get a little more deeper when we come back again.
I'm down. Hey, because we be on the golf course. We be talking. I have no problem with it.
We go crazy in the golf course, man. You teach me a whole lot of stuff. I was like, whoa, this really happened?
Hey, you be surprised. But yeah.
Where can people catch you?
You catch me on the K&O show, WVOL. You catch me on SpeakLife Omar on Facebook, on Instagram, and on TikTok. And new content is coming out January 1st, so I'll be working on some stuff. And thank you again for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I was waiting on this one.
I know you was talking about it. I was
waiting on this one, man. So when we go back to part 2 in the middle of the year, I think we bring females in and we have a great discussion about family, marriage, relationships. Because this brought some things I don't even know at 48. and been married 20 years, I'm be like, whoa, that really happened?
Man, let me tell you something. It's an ongoing process. I would tell anybody, if you stop learning after you leave high school and college, you're dead already. You're dead in the water.
I believe that.
You got to continuously learn. You got to continuously work on you. You got to continuously grind to be the best person you be.
Well, I'm trying to be the best person I be, man. I'm using this podcast for half of it for enjoyment, half of it for therapy, man. Hey. So I'm looking for
we got ours coming up, right?
Yeah, we need to do one together.
Yeah. We've been talking about it.
We got to talk to Jim. Say, Jim, can you deal with us on the Uncensored podcast? You go hear some stuff you like, Mark, I can't do this with you no more. When you do your normal podcast, call me. Thanks, man. Hey, y'all check out Omar, relationship expert. Catch him every Sunday at 3 o'clock with the K
and O
show on 1470.
1470
WV or what? Check him out.
That's it.
He had me at a guest. Was it last year or this year?
Yeah, last year.
We're
gonna get you back though.
They don't want me back. Your guest got mad at me.
Who?
I don't know. Them comments, it was like he's wrong.
That'll be all right.
Hey, if you like what you hear from today's episode, please click the subscribe button.
I think he was
on
the best
YouTube
guest.
page.
Really, I think he was.
Oh yeah, I appreciate that. I need to be the best guest. I'm on another podcast tomorrow.
Okay.
And then I have another one I'm a guest on the following Sunday.
I got like 5 more, and I
hope I behave.
I think one of the guys that was here, Mr. Sneed.
Yeah, Mr. Sneed.
Yeah, he was talking about getting me on his podcast. I was like, okay, cool. No
That's
problem.
cool. But click the subscribe button if you like what you hear, and also help us get to 1,000 followers by the end of 2025. And please, if you like what you hear, consider making a small donation to help keep the podcast online. It costs money to record these episodes and keep it going. And plus, I got to take care of my producer. That's the man, Jim McCarty. That's my guy. So God bless you. Happy New Year. Make 2025 the best year of your life. See you again on another episode of Strong in My Father podcast.